my thoughts on the CNN town hall last night. It failed on every front except one. It was wildly successful in giving Donald Trump an hour of free airtime to make his case without laying a glove on him. Congrats, CNN. My biggest takeaway on this thing is town halls or debates meant to help primary voters decide on a candidate ought to be hosted by anchors who understand what is important to that candidate's party. I realize Kaitlan Collins once worked for the Daily Caller, but her days of connecting with the GOP audiences are apparently over. The topics pushed by CNN in this thing might as well have been selected by Rachel Maddow or the Never Trump Lincoln Project. It's actually possible. It's possible they did it. Though Chief Lincoln Project guy Rick Wilson did not seem too happy about the execution by CNN.
And whatever the fuck they thought they were going to get out of this, they instead have set a match to democracy. This insanity should be pulled off the fucking air. Chris Licht, you should be ashamed of yourself. This is astoundingly bad for the brand of CNN. It's astoundingly bad for the country. And it's astoundingly bad, honestly, folks, for every other Republican candidate in the primaries. Wrap that shit up. It's done. You saw this tonight. You know you can't beat him on the stage because he's going to be the nominee. This shit is unfucking believable. I've never seen anything like it. It is a disaster of the highest fucking degree.
So you liked it. January 6th, election denialism, Mar-a-Lago documents, the E. Jean Carroll sexual abuse case. Are these the topics Republican voters want to devote their town halls to in order to make the best primary decision? Only a liberal would think so. And though the questions were supposed to come from the audience, it was Kaitlan Collins who raised most of these or who refused to move on from them once Trump had answered, in some cases, repeatedly. Where were the questions about inflation or the banking crisis and what to do about it? She spent 3 minutes on the economy and 20 on January 6th in the last election. How about a question on why he didn't fire Fauci, whether he regrets the lockdowns, where he stands on women's rights vis-a-vis the trans community, what his plans are to address the intelligence agency's capture by hard partisans, whether government should be used to shut down corporate ideologies that Republicans don't happen to like, as his rival Ron DeSantis is trying to do in Florida. What would he, President Trump, do about tech censorship of conservatives? 1/3 of the debate on whether he lost the last time around, the insurrection, and pardons for its participants may be catnip for the left, but it is not what's driving GOP voters. CNN tried to thread the needle here. It's dying in the ratings, absolutely dying. It's truly a dreadful situation over there. They're under new ownership, which reportedly wants to restore CNN's reputation as a somewhat boring, but mostly nonpartisan news channel that might be acceptable even to Republicans. I support that mission, but I don't believe it's possible with the cast of anchors that drove those Republican viewers away in the first place. Firing Don Lemon and Brian Stelter was a start, but let's face it, their lineup from start to finish not only hates the GOP, they don't know the first thing about them. CNN lured Trump back on its air with an hour of primetime while surrounded with Republican voters in New Hampshire. He said it was an offer too good to refuse. But it was train wreck TV. It was like they forgot everything we know about Donald Trump, like how hard he is to control, how he likes to filibuster, how difficult it is to fact check him in real time, how important time limits on answers are when dealing with him, how the way to stop him from talking is to remind him to respect the audience and their time, not just to start talking during his answers over and over and over. Then you look rude instead of Trump. So the thing quickly spun out of control, and Kaitlan Collins was ill-equipped to stop it. A town hall is about the audience and the candidate. She should have faded into obscurity while he had his exchanges with the audience. Instead, she hijacked the event by trying to turn it into something about her and her supposed toughness, trying to fact check him at every turn, and worse, by not knowing when the horse is dead and there's no reason to keep beating it. Here is one example.
Would you sign a federal abortion ban into law?
What I'll do is negotiate so that people are happy. But the fact that I was able, I'm so proud of it. We put 3 great justices on the Supreme Court. We have almost 300 federal judges on the Supreme Court.
So just to be clear, Mr. President, you would sign a federal abortion ban into law.
I said this. I want to do what's right. And we're looking, and we want to do what's right for everybody.
But what's right?
But now, for the first time, the people that are pro-life have negotiating capability.
If they send it to your desk, would you sign it?
Some people are at 6 weeks. Some people are at 3 weeks,
where's
2
President
weeks.
Trump?
President Trump is going to make a determination what he thinks is great for the country.
All right. At a certain point, the audience knows the candidate is dodging. You don't have to try to extract the answer like a guard down in Gitmo. Just move on. They get it. They get it. He's not going to answer. You risk making the moment about yourself, and worse, you're wasting precious time. Collins is young. She's inexperienced. In the future, hopefully, she will do better. This time, she was not up to the job. As for the fact-checking, well, that is nearly impossible in a live event with Donald Trump. We know this. He will say whatever he wants, and she did a decent job of trying to correct certain things, but it spun into her opinion versus his. That's not good. Why did she say the 2020 election wasn't rigged, for example? What does rigged mean? You have to be careful as a news anchor. Rigged does not necessarily mean Dominion voting machines switched votes. That's nonsense. It could mean mail-in balloting was misused. Laws were changed to facilitate more votes from Democrats in questionable ways. Stories about Joe Biden were unfairly suppressed by big tech. The media was fawning in its coverage of Joe Biden. For example, they blacked out his long history of racism, but pummeled Donald Trump with accusations of racism every day. They buried the Tara Reade story, in which she accused him of sexually assaulting her, but made a heroine out of E. Jean Carroll. It's going on to this day. Who is Kaitlan Collins to declare to GOP voters, 63% of whom do not believe Biden legitimately won the election, that everything was fair and square? She wanted to appease CNN's existing audience and her media critics. She knew she'd get points if she injected her opinion disguised as fact checks in there. That's not the job of a journalist. Had the topic selection been better and more germane to this audience, had she interfered less and only when it mattered, and had there been a time limit on his answers, her interruptions would have been less needed and more effective when deployed. Instead, you had an anchor who looked out of her depth and partisan, a candidate who seized the opportunity and won the night, and a network that pleased approximately no one. I want to tell you about the amazing extreme altitude wines from the Bonner Private Wine Partnership. These flavors go great with any hearty meal and meat you're going to serve. They are unlike any wine you've ever tasted. Blackberry, leather, smoke, and little dark cherry. The wines are almost impossible to get on your own. The producers deep in the Andes Mountains make limited quantities. I have a great offer for you right now. If you visit bonnerprivatewines.com/MKS, that's BONNER privatewines.com/MKS, you will not only get wine for over 50% off plus free shipping, you'll also get a bonus bottle of small batch limited production wine from their exclusive wine cellar. That's 4 bottles for the price of 3. It's a deal that's hard to turn down if you are a wine lover like I am. They've cut out the middleman, so you're not going to pay a big markup. Just visit Bonner, BONNER privatewines.com/MKS to claim your bonus bottle and become a part of America's most unique wine club. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.